down.
I will
even though I put Alpine at fifth.
all of my hair off if they replace him after this first race and put Colapinto in.
You'll shave all your hair off?
I'll shave all of my hair off.
Really?
It's not.
We don't know the pace of the car yet because we've not had a race. That's why it's fun.
No, and that's why we're excited for Sunday.
But like...
like, come on, just give me the race.
Here's my middle finger. I'm Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson.
Yeah, because of his...
You jealous that I'm quicker? Here's my middle finger. They showed Carlos on his appendix. They didn't talk about Colapinto and Sargent.
And his pubes.
Yeah, that was that.
You felt
I didn't know where to look.
I was like, what the hell is going on? That's a bit of a low bell.
Yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 3 of the Drive to Thrive podcast. Today we're going to be doing our predictions on this season going ahead. We're going to give you a little bit update on some of the news that's happened throughout this week and maybe a bit of the winter season. And then maybe talk a little bit about gossip, what we think about what's gone on with some of the pre-season testing, anything that we might have missed, and what we're hoping to go to Melbourne weekend. Danielle, you're the news person, you're the gossip person, so you can kick us off with...
I feel like so much has been happening since testing. So obviously testing was a few weeks ago. We're recording this on the Friday, so FP1 and FP2 have happened ahead of Melbourne.
I've seen snippets.
But we've not watched it. I've not watched it. All I know is where, you know, people finish roughly, but like I've not watched any of the coverage. We're going into this episode to record our predictions completely blind. But yeah, F1 is back. Like we are back. Like we're both feeling pretty hyped. So excited for the year ahead. Like I just feel like social media has exploded since testing.
Yep.
And there's just been so much content and all the drivers are just back like full force and raring to go. So we won't obviously dive into everything that's happened, but I think it's good to just highlight a few of the news stories that have come out over the last few weeks since we recorded the last episode after testing. So I think the first point that I just want to like flag is the fact that Oscar Piastri this week, so yeah, we are recording this on the Friday before Melbourne, and a few days ago Oscar Piastri renewed his contract on a multi-year deal with McLaren, and I am sure no surprises, but what is surprising I found was that he's now paid the same as Lando, and I don't feel like
papaya rules, isn't it?
I feel like Lando probably deserves a bit more. He's been in it so many more seasons.
He's been in it more seasons, but I know Oscar was behind Lando last year, but he was pivotal to them getting the...
Yeah, he was.
Also
Oscar's
pivotal.
phenomenal,
Yeah, Oscar's very good. Maybe it's... I think, and we're going to talk about the predictions later, but like them two could be similar. Like this year, them two are going to be fighting each other.
They've both got...
Could this be enough for them to be like, look...
Yeah.
If you end up proving yourself this year, but this is your year to prove it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Lando needs to prove it this year. He needs to step up. But I feel like they're both really good drivers, they've both got different strengths.
Yeah.
So whereas like Lando's obviously very determined, very funny, but Oscar is so cool as a cucumber,
calm,
so calm. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. But yeah, they're both on I think 20 mil now.
Wow.
Yeah, after Max, Lewis and Charles, them two are the highest paid.
Yeah,
it's probably going to have something to do with the fact that they won the constructors last year and bonuses and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so he's on a multi-year deal, so that signifies to the rest of the paddock that Oscar is definitely staying put. And I know Lando obviously signed a multi-year deal, like not last year, the year before, when McLaren were terrible. I think it was the season where Daniel Ricciardo left that he signed his multi-year deal, and everyone was like, what the hell are you doing, Lando? Like, you've just signed your own like gravestone almost. But now he obviously knew what was coming down the line and he's invested a lot into that team, so they're both on multi-year contracts, so that's super exciting. I
remember watching a YouTube video during the season when McLaren were having it rough and when George was also having porpoising issues, when we were all like, oh my god, Red Bull's running away with it. And there was a little one, I can't remember if it was Brundle or someone was like the presenters on it, and they were doing a little go-kart track, Russell, Albon and Norris. It was kind of cool, And I remember all of them. I know, obviously, Mercedes was still doing better, even though they had pole position.
Was that 22 when it was literally like bouncing?
Yeah, and I think basically along the lines of, they went down the line at the end of the video, like, what do you all guys want to do? Like, and they all said world champions. And I think George Russell was laughing at Norris as in, like, because that's what their car was in. It was an absolute state that year. But he said, no, I'm staying. I have faith in my team, and it has paid
and now,
off.
it has, and it might do this year. But now Oscar's the same, isn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's super exciting. And the other news story that came out a few days ago was the fact that Jonathan Wheatley is the team principal for Sauber.
Kick Sauber, yeah.
Not Stake.
No, Stake.
Even though
Kick
same
Sauber.
thing, same but different.
Yeah.
So I think, but what's interesting, I don't think he's starting this weekend. I think he's starting further down the line. So I'm sure I read it was April.
April 1st or something like that.
Yeah.
Is it an April Fool's?
No, I doubt it. No. But like, is that because of his gardening leave from when he left Red Bull, or why? Why is it because it's Matteo? It's Matteo who's the team principal now, isn't it? Who used to be the team principal for.
I forget about that.
He was Ferrari, then he left for a bit.
Benotto's gone. I'm not even put that together in my head.
Yeah. So, because he was Ferrari, Fred kicked him out when he, to come in to be team principal at Ferrari.
Yeah.
Then he's come back to do Sauber.
2 weeks.
And now Jonathan Wheatley's come in.
Oh, bless him, Benotto.
So, I mean, I don't think he was doing that good things.
I know.
To be fair,
he's maybe going to, I don't know what he's going to do. Different championship or maybe do whatever. But I would kind of, I don't know. He seems like a nice guy, but maybe nice isn't good enough. Like
what was Jonathan Wheatley's role at Red Bull? Was he race director or something? Sporting director?
I don't know. But hasn't he got...
You should have researched that before the episode.
Kyle. Me, I don't. I don't research much. I just absorb information and what I find interesting.
You sent me the post on Instagram about it. The Wheatley one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
names going in and out my head sometimes.
So Jonathan Wheatley's doing coming in. I wonder if how many years he'll be team principal, because obviously 4. Audi are coming in next year. So he's got
good there, hasn't he, to be fair then.
Yeah, he was really influential at Red Bull, I know that, along with Newey. They were like the main like names, weren't they? So yeah, I think that feeds into the next thing that I wanted to bring up. And I do feel like Red Bull have there's a sense that they're almost on a downwards trajectory at the moment. I know they won drivers last year with Max, and Max is phenomenal. But with Newey leaving, Wheatley leaving, all the stuff that's happened with Christian Horner and the internal factions in between Jos Verstappen, Helmut Marko, Verstappen, Horner, it felt like a really toxic team last year. Yeah. And I think that's just been emphasised by the fact that Drive to Survive has come out, and there was that whole episode about Horner.
Yeah. First episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that, it also came out as well. I don't know if it got leaked this week, that the woman that is complained about Christian Horner, she's taking him to court next year in January in 2026. And there's also like been a gag order, like the press aren't allowed to talk about it at all. So that's almost like why this
Are
time.
Are we going to get gagged?
I don't think literally, but at the start of, it was all kicking off this time last year in Melbourne, wasn't it? At the start of the season, it all come out, and it was like the media circus that was around that whole story, and then it just kind of dropped off, didn't it? Like everyone found out that the internal investigation found Horner wasn't guilty, but then she got fired, and that kind of caused a bit of uproar, and then it kind of just got deaded off. So I think Wheatley joining Sauber, Drive to Survive coming out and highlighting all that drama that happened at Red Bull last year, and then secondary to that is the really famous F1 mechanic Callum Nichols, who is, everyone will know from watching Drive to Survive and also the races. He was such a big figure in that
guy that you're not going to miss. Tall.
Yes, such a big figure in that garage. He stepped down from his role this year, and he's becoming like an ambassador for the team instead of a mechanic. But in doing that, he's released a book that has some quite inflammatory statements about the culture at Red Bull, and that's been picked up on social media this week and completely reignited this whole story about a toxic workplace culture. And apparently the biggest, one of the standout things that has been going around social media is he said that Jonathan Wheatley's laptop was open in the garage and it was linked to the pit wall, and someone put like porn on his laptop, so it was like broadcasting throughout the whole garage
during
a race weekend, which obviously everyone can kind of laugh that off and be like, oh, that's just funny, but if you break it down, that is so inappropriate on so many levels.
So it wasn't Wheatley, it was someone else
on his open laptop, because his laptop, from what my
pranking kind of thing, but maybe.
So my understanding from, because I've read the paragraph where he refers to this incident, I think his laptop was just open, but it was like feed into the pit wall. That was in the garage, and then obviously Wheatley was sat on the pit wall with Horner and Adrian Newey, and someone, I don't know who it was, decided to put porn on his laptop and broadcast it. And I just think, I'm obviously acknowledge that I might be a bit biased because I'm not a Max fan or a Red Bull fan as such, but I just think the key members, the big names that they've lost, the whole drama last year surrounding the Horner incident, which was awful as an F1 fan to witness, never mind, I can't imagine what it was like to work there. And then with these claims that have come out with Callum's book, and then mixed in with that, the Drive to Survive, which I know dramatises everything. It's just, yeah. It's
disruptive to everything. And we kind of saw that, like you say, in the results last year. Will we see that bleeding into this year? I don't know, because everyone seems quite positive about Lawson. Everyone always remains positive about Max's racing capability. Not always confident about his attitude, but like, he's going to race at the end of the day. I know that he always says that when you see press interviewing, they're always like, they're trying to get the drama out of him, and he just goes, I'm cool, I'm calm, I'll go home, I'll drink some gin and tonics.
Yeah, but then his dad gives the drama because his dad has no filter.
But he's not driving, so.
And I have mixed opinions about Jos Verstappen. He scares me, I can't lie, but I do respect that he just says things like he's not media trained. He doesn't have to be media trained, and he will almost like say really inflammatory comments and off the cuff remarks. And I think Helmut Marko also does that, and then Max has to deal with the fallout when he's in that media pen after the races. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if Red Bull have solved their culture problems this year, because that was a massive story on social media this week about Callum's book and the Drive to Survive episode. It was, we've not watched the whole of Drive to Survive. No. We've only watched a few episodes, but I don't know about you, but when we were watching it, I was I just felt really uncomfortable, and not cringe, but I was just like, oh, I don't want to view this, because
it's stuff
it
that
was
you
just
don't
so wormy and horrible.
It's stuff that you don't normally get a view into or get to see. So like, in one way it was interesting and it sparks curiosity, because you're like, oh, this is the kind, like you say, would normally get a gag order or wouldn't get shown, or would be tried to brush under the rug. And I was actually really surprised that that was the first Opsin episode, and Christian's okay for all that to go out.
Yeah, but do you think what Christian was saying was necessarily true? Probably not. Like, because it's all dramatized.
Yeah, it's all managed. But anyway, it was interesting. Interesting about Wheatley. Very happy for Oscar, aren't we, that he's got a multi-year contract. Hopefully that gives him more confidence going into this year.
Yeah. I think
he's not going to be like a Perez, in terms of Perez had a multi-year deal and thought he had it in his back pocket that he's safe, and then he lost it because of performance. We know Oscar's going to perform, so hopefully it just really gives him that sense of like, I can compete in this championship and maybe even get into like the top three. I
think as well, just to like link into the start of this year, I think Drive to Survive, when it comes out, it always comes out just before the start of the season, and it confuses me, and you said it the same in your head a little bit, because you have to think about like, oh, that was last year, but then sometimes it flashes back to the year before, so that was like 2 years ago.
First bit was 2023 recap, wasn't it? No, not recap, but then talking about 2023. So I was like, what?
It was a bit confusing, but like, I initially, when Drive to Survive came out, I didn't really enjoy it, because I found that like, as an F1 fan, we follow the whole year, and they miss key points throughout the year, and it just used to frustrate me so much that they wouldn't cover almost the season in chronological order, or they would miss key narratives and key storylines. But then this year, because last year was so much happened, I think they had an impossible task to be able to like talk about everything. So I watched it from a different perspective. I mean, we've not watched it all, but the episodes we have watched from a different perspective, and I actually enjoyed it from like an entertainment factor, because they missed key points. Like, they didn't talk about Ollie Behrman and his stepping in for Carlos Sainz, even though they showed Carlos on his appendix. They didn't talk about Colapinto and Sargent.
And his pubes.
Yeah, that was that.
You felt
I didn't know where to look. I was like,
what the hell is going on? That's a bit of a low bell.
Yeah, that scene when he's like, oh my God. Yeah.
Look at my scar. It's very hurting.
I think he's like playing into the fact he's just like the dreamiest driver. But
he is.
So yeah, I think from an entertainment perspective now, I was like, why have they not mentioned Franco? Why have they not mentioned Ollie Behrman? But I think the narratives they have chose to cover are like good. They're the main ones, and I enjoy it because even though I followed the whole season, we're still getting to see things that we've never seen before and different perspectives and behind the scenes footage. So I love it.
I profess and confess, I didn't finish last year's season of Drive to Survive. I don't know why. It just didn't grip me. But I have enjoyed Drive to Survive.
That's because it was just talking about the Max season when he won all the time. So they were making narratives. Like they made 2 episodes on like Alpine.
But it's kind of...
which nothing happened.
For whatever reason, I can't remember what... Like, again, it was a non-eventful kind of episode for me. I've never had an issue with Drive to Survive. I like the fact that it dramatises it. The only thing I've ever slated Drive to Survive for is the fact that it's a double-edged sword. I like the fact that it's increasing the popularity of Formula One for most people and fans and audiences and bringing in more of the lay people.
Yeah.
But I also dislike it for that because then, as we said in our first episode, it kind of is now making the sport so popular that it's now becoming less available for people to go and watch it. For like the true fans that might not have the money to go and watch or pay for a ticket, prices are going up. You're getting more ridiculous stuff like Las Vegas. And yeah, that's the only downside I find of it.
Of Las Vegas, they've come out this week as well and said that they're like reducing the ticket prices because last year I think they struggled to sell because it was so expensive.
Too right.
The American races are ridiculous.
Yeah.
But they've said they're going to reduce the ticket prices. General admission still $400. That's more than most of the European races. At Monza, general admission was 130 €30.
Yeah.
I mean, Silverstone's very expensive, but you can go to races in Europe, on the mainland Europe, for less than $200. But yeah, it just made me laugh because I was like, they've addressed the fact that the ticket prices in America are insane.
Yeah,
but there's still, general admission is not.
Yeah, but things are sometimes more expensive in America anyway. So
yeah.
like it is what it is, and we're probably never going to go to Las Vegas anytime soon to that race. So
no.
It doesn't
I don't
affect
expect
us,
10 grand to pay, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, should we
crack on?
Should we get into our predictions?
Ahead of Melbourne in a few days' time, we thought it'd be a really good place to start and talk through our predictions. So we're going to do driver predictions, constructors predictions, rookie of the year, rookie flop of the year, best of the rest, and the what the fuck moment. We're going to predict a crazy moment that we think is going to happen this year. And then hopefully after Abu Dhabi at Christmas, we can look back at this episode and recap and see how we got it right or wrong, basically.
Yeah, we're either going to be geniuses or absolute plonkers. So
I mean, I think in the like back end of the pack, it will be quite easy to predict. But
I don't know, you know.
Generally though, from P10 to P1, and especially like P8 to P1, that's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
There's going to be seconds and like 1 point, like every point is going to matter.
Yeah. What I found hard whilst I was writing these predictions, because I didn't know that we was going to do all 20. I thought maybe we was just do like top 5 or something like that, and then we're doing all 10 manufacturers as well. Yeah. Like then I was like, oh, I'm doing all my names, and then I wrote all my kind of what I thought for the manufacturers, and then I looked at the drivers again. I was like, hang on.
Because if you're saying
they don't match up, how are they going to make enough points to be in that position?
Yeah,
I was like, oh God. So it takes a lot of thinking.
It does.
But yeah, should we crack on? Should we get into it?
So we've got our notebooks at the ready.
Too much to remember, so we've got little pieces of paper.
I think we can fly through the first few, to be honest.
Are we doing the
20 to 1?
Oh, we're starting there. Okay.
Yeah. Or do you want to start with constructors first, or 20?
I don't know.
Right, let's start with constructors. In 10th, I've got Steak.
Are we doing it this way?
Yeah.
Are we doing it back?
Kyle, you're going to have to cut this off.
Why? No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay.
Why would you start with number 1? That's so anticlimactic.
No, as in I thought you were just going to go 10 to 1 yourself.
No, 10
And then
10.
I'll do 10-10. Right, okay. It's not that odd. Come on, all right. 10, what did you have, sorry?
Steak.
Steak. It's not steak. Kick Sauber.
Same thing. Same thing.
Kick Sauber for me as well.
Yeah.
We all know that
I think they're going to struggle this year. They're just waiting for Audi to come in. It's sad because I think Nico and Bortoletto are really good drivers, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Number 9, I've got RB, Cash App, AlphaTauri, Toro Rosso, WhatsApp, whatever you call them.
Same. Racing Bulls.
Yeah, Racing Bulls. I think Isaac, Kajar, and Yuki, again, are great drivers, but I just don't feel like they were that memorable last year either, and they were not scoring consistent points.
Yeah.
So, and I think because the top 4 teams are so competitive, they're just going to take up the top 8. So it's going to be very difficult.
That's what was hard. It's like I was looking at the people and I was like, I'm thinking of what they did last year, but then I'm like, then what the cars kind of performed in pre-season testing. Like, I mean, like the numbers could be like 1 and 2 and 3. I think Sauber's probably going to get 0 again. I don't know, because Nico could eke out. Like if there's even like this weekend, if there's too much rain, like and more experienced driver, and if it happens like all the memes I keep seeing of like start of the season with 7 rookies and everyone just smashing into each other, 7 rookies
and rain and chaos,
So, but it's so hard to predict if people are going to sneak points. That's what
I think Stake 10 or Sauber 10, 9 RB, 8 Aston.
Oh my God! Okay, well you're not too far off from what I put Haas.
Okay.
Only because I'm basing it off, and I know you can't base it off preseason as we covered in the last episode, but we didn't see them doing performance runs. So how can I?
Haas.
Yeah, we didn't see them doing any performance runs, so I don't actually know what their car is going to be like.
But
there could be 2 reasons why that is. One, they didn't want to do performance runs because they know their performance isn't good, or
I don't think so.
I know, but I'm happy because for the fantasy league, like if they do really good, the price could go up. But we'll see. But I've got them at 8.
So I was going to put Haas at 8th, and then I've swapped it at the last minute and put Aston because I think Aston are just going to tank this year. Like
really?
Stroll is just the most. I just don't know how he's still there. Like honestly, I thought the shareholders of Aston Martin would have kicked him out.
Stroll got points. He didn't always get points, but he gets points. And you've got to remember, and this is why I put Aston just above. Newey is not. He's going to be focused on the 26 car
upgrades,
but he will potentially have his little fingers in there towards the end of the season.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I should have left them at 7th.
And Alonso's still a good driver.
Yeah, Alonso's very good.
Stroll can do it sometimes, right? And then Haas, we've got Behrman, it's his first season. He can make points, but he's in a lower league car.
Yeah.
And Ocon, who equally, if he gets
but Ocon nearly won, didn't he?
He did, but if he starts getting all competitive like he did with Gasly,
yeah. So I put Haas in 7th.
Okay.
On the premise that last year they had a really strong year.
They did.
Even though K-Mag was a bit of a wild card. He was just he gave he gave no fucks. Like he have a suspended race because he got so many penalty points.
I can't remember.
And that's when Ollie Behrman had to step in. I'm sure that happened. So I think they'll actually do better this year because I think Ollie Behrman and Esteban Ocon are a stronger pairing than Nico and K-Mag just because K-Mag was so crazy. I mean, he was great for entertainment purposes.
Oh, he was ace.
In terms of reliability and scoring consistent points, he was a rough choice.
Yeah. Was it Monaco when them two smashed into each other?
I thought that was Alpine.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I've got Haas in 7th. Who have you got in 7th?
Aston.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've just switched around. I just swapped them around at the last minute. 6th, I've got Williams.
Okay, I've got Alpine.
Ooh, so
My reasoning is because... so again, we've swapped. So may as well just talk about 5 and 6.
Yeah, because I
put
5
Williams
Alpine.
in 5 because they've got 2 experienced drivers.
Yeah.
Whereas Alpine have got 1 experienced driver who's in a new seat as well. Albon's been in Williams forever, so he knows that car.
No, Gasly's been in Alpine forever. Like 2 years now. And then you've got Doohan.
Oh, yeah. Who was the one that swapped? Ocon. Sorry. So, but they've got Gasly.
Yeah.
They've got Gasly and then they've got Doohan. There's so much speculation about Doohan as it is.
Yeah.
So he's in new, but then if they get someone else in who's then new again, they're getting cut back as well.
Yeah.
And Sainz did well in preseason testing in that car. Again, doesn't show anything, but I think they could.
I think I actually agree with you. I think I should have switched my Aston and Haas around and my Williams and my Alpine, but we move.
You
They're locked in now.
They're locked in.
So yeah, Williams, I definitely think 5th or 6th is fair.
Yeah.
Carlos is even. I mean, I've not watched FP2, but he was second fastest in FP2 today.
Yeah.
Still, and this is the time where they're bringing the pace.
They're going for it.
Like they're like wanting to get, reach the limits of that car and get used to the track and the conditions and stuff. So the fact that he's still putting it up there, it's so exciting.
It's impressive. And the first appendixless team. We got to remember that as well.
Maybe
it's
lighter.
the weight.
They're
it's the
lighter.
weight saving.
Clearly, they're lighter.
That's going to put them in 5th.
So 4th.
I think this is the interest. I think you're going to be shocked with what I put here.
If
Maybe.
you put Ferrari, then I'm just going to be really upset with you.
Okay, no.
So 4th, I've got Red Bull.
Oh, okay. Maybe we were the same then. Red Bull, same for me.
Yeah. Weren't Red Bull 4th last year? Or Mercedes the 3rd? Or were the 3rd?
Third.
I think they were 3rd and Mercedes.
Yeah.
So I put Mercedes 3rd this year.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like Red Bull, like I said earlier, they're on a bit of a downwards trajectory. I do feel like Max, you can't discount them completely because they're still a very competitive team, and Max is phenomenal, and he is a 4-time consecutive world champion, so he's going to be up there.
Yeah.
I do think Liam Lawson will get more points and do better than Perez, but I think Liam will struggle in that car. Even today, again, I've not watched all of FP1 and 2, so these decisions were locked in before FP1 and 2 today. But I think Red Bull were a bit reserved on free practice today because I think Liam came out and just said that he was struggling to find the pace or whatever. So I do think that car is very hard to drive. It's 10 out of 10 sensitivity. So Max is going to be carrying the team, but I think they're going to do better than last year with Lawson.
Yeah.
But I think Mercedes are going to do better than last year too.
Yeah.
That's why I put them in that position.
I think the spread of points is like, but last year it was like top 3 teams was like that, and then the rest of the pack kind of like really.
Yeah. And then Mercedes were kind of on their own, and then it was like it was really close between Alpine, Haas, and RB, and then it was like Williams, and then Stake were at the bottom. But I think this year it's going to be very close between like Aston, Haas, Williams, Alpine. That's going to be like a little, and RB as well. Yeah. I think they're going to be a little group, and then I think obviously the top 4 are going to be a group. So yeah, second place.
So we're both.
3rd, I've got Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes 2 then. Yeah.
Second place.
Surely you've got Ferrari. Yeah.
I can't believe we've got the same. That's quite cool.
For the top 4, yeah. I think
we would have had the
sense.
same, but I swapped them, and I'm regretting my choices now.
Mercedes and Red Bull, I was kind of umming and ahhing about because I was like, I don't know. I don't have, even though I've written it down, and I keep second guessing myself about Antonelli. I don't know. Everyone's saying he's the star boy, and I think sometimes if you've got that in your mind and that's how everyone keeps portraying you, and if he doesn't perform well in his first 3 races, I think that'll affect his mentality for the rest of the season, and I think that could potentially screw him over. If he goes in Melbourne and he gets 4th or 5th or 6th, fine, and if he does that for the next 2 races, it'll just give him that sense of like, yeah, okay, I've got this, everyone trusts me, I've got it. But if he just happens to have 2 mistakes, like big ones that cost the team points, I think that might get in his head, because then the press has immediately gone, where's Mercedes star boy?
It's not just the press, it's the confidence in the car as well. Yeah. But it's hard. They'll definitely. I am kind of regretting putting them in 3rd now because I'm thinking about it.
It's the battle between who's going to be better, Antonelli
You've got
or
to
Lawson.
think Mercedes finished 4th last year with Lewis and George, where now they've got George and a rookie.
Yeah.
So why are they going to do better? But I think they might do better because the car is better, and George is also more confident because he's in that number 1
He's
seat.
the main driver now.
So, and they will, again, we can't really rely on testing, but they were promising in testing. George was consistently up there.
Yeah.
So that's why I put them in 3rd, just because I feel like Kimi is a very aggressive driver. I'm sure when he did his laps in Monza before he crashed out, he was doing the same times as Lewis in that car anyway. So he's definitely got the ability. So yeah, going on to 2nd and 1st, I think it's going to be very, very close. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I really do. But I think McLaren are going to win the constructors again. They're the clear favourites. They're, like we said in testing, they're the car to beat. But I think Ferrari are due some silverware, to be honest. It's not been since Raikkonen in the early 2000s.
Stuff I don't know. Probably should have researched that, but I didn't. So
I think there's a theme here.
I'm terrible with memory. I'm terrible with memory of stuff. I'll always just say, "Oh yeah, that was 2 years ago." It ends up being 6 years ago.
So do you agree with McLaren? And
I agree. I've got McLaren at 1st, and I've got Ferrari I had it almost. I'm looking at my notes. I scribbled it out. I had Mercedes as second, but then I looked at my drivers list again. I was like, no they can't be.
No way. No
and then
way.
I remembered that actually they've got 2 experienced drivers and a good car. So I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah. So do you want to quickly go through yours 10 to 1 again? Just.
Yeah. So I'm wanting to change my mind, but I can't. I've locked it in.
You can't. You're locked in.
So I've got 10 Stake, 9 RB, 8 Aston, 7 Haas, 6 Williams, 5th Alpine, 4th Red Bull, 3rd Mercedes, 2nd Ferrari, and 1st McLaren.
And I've got locked in Kick Sauber 10, Racing Bulls 9, Haas in 8, Aston Martin in 7th, Alpine in 6th, Williams in 5th, Red Bull in 4th, Mercedes in 3rd, Ferrari in 2nd, and again McLaren in 1st.
Okay.
That would be good for us UK fans.
What do we win?
If we win?
Yeah, we should have developed some kind of points on like if how many you get right, it's like money. So we could have give each other a prize.
I don't know. What maybe put something in the comments what our kind of
like bet should be.
Bet or forfeit should be for the loser of this.
And we need to add up the points for each one. So going on to the drivers. So 20th, I think we'll both agree on this.
Oh, it's going to be a long list.
It won't. 20th, I've got Bortoletto.
Yes.
I think he obviously won F3 and F2 consecutively.
Yep, one of very few.
Yeah, very, very good driver. He's up there with the likes of Norris and Russell, I think, who did that with F3 and F2.
Can't
and
remember.
Charles, there's only a handful of drivers that have ever done that.
Yeah.
I think he's a promising talent for the future. I don't think he'll stay at Sauber for a long time.
Do you know?
It depends what Audi say next year, but weren't he the Aston Martin reserve driver? So he might do something with them in the future. I think
if Stroll gets sacked?
I know Helmut Marko came out this week and called him a C-list driver, which I thought, or a B-list driver.
But he's just grumpy old Dracula, isn't he? He's just like that.
Which was a bit rude, but especially when they gave Perez a seat for 6 months too long. I think that was a bit unfair.
Yeah. No, but Bortoletto kicked back and was like, look at all of your drivers that you've had. They've not been great.
Yeah, he's like, you're not God, basically. So you've made some bad decisions.
Yeah.
But have you got Bortoletto in 20?
Yeah, Bortoletto in 20.
19th.
Hajar.
Ooh. I've got Nico.
Really?
Because obviously Stake are going to be at the back.
I've got Nico quite a bit up. Well, even though he's in a kick Sauber, bit like when he was in the Haas, like K-Mag was here.
Where did he finish last year?
Nico was sometimes like way up here, and that's just because he's good at driving.
Yeah.
Hajar in 19th. You've got Nico.
Yeah.
So you basically just gone kick Sauber, crap, bottom.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry, guys.
18th, I've got Ocon.
Yeah, this is different.
Yeah,
this is wildly different.
This is basically almost like my wild predictions. Like I've gone for Ocon because
So this is as well, the drivers we need to say are based on the drivers at day one. Obviously they might be chopping and changing and people out, people in. We could end up with a 25 driver championship.
If they stay as they are, this is where we think they're going to go.
So I've gone 18th Jack Doohan on the simple basis that he is probably not going to do a lot of races. So someone else will come in and there'll be a 21 driver championship, i.e. Colapinto.
Yeah.
But I think Jack Doohan is not going to get given the chance to get many points because he's not going to do that many races. So that's why I put him low down.
I will
even though I put Alpine at 5th.
All of my hair off if they replace him after this first race and put Colapinto in.
You'll shave all your hair off?
I'll shave all of my hair off.
Didn't Colapinto do practice or something? He was doing laps in the car this weekend.
Yeah, they're giving him some time. They can't do that.
Flavio, what's he called? That Flavio Bravatore.
Not a clue.
Murdering the pronunciations again. He is cutthroat. Yeah. Do you not know who he is? The guy who got done for fraud.
No.
For cheating.
No.
We need to educate you, Kyle. We need to educate you.
I like watching the track. I don't look at all the side stuff.
Well, anyway, so Alpine.
You've got Doohan for 18th.
Yeah,
I've got Ocon. 17th, I've got Doohan.
Okay, fairs.
Because Alpine's a competitive car. That's why I've gone with. I know.
Why did you put Ocon at 18th?
I don't know. He's becoming a bit of a Daniel Ricciardo for me. Like I'm losing faith in him.
I agree
I'm
with
losing
that
faith
comment.
in him. Everyone's still like hyping him, but I'm just losing faith in him.
I do agree with that comment, but he had some really good drives last year in Alpine, and Alpine had issues within the team.
Yeah, but he's with Haas now. It's a new team, new car, and
so 17th I got Stroll. because Stroll is just...
Stroll, okay.
We don't want this to turn into the Stroll hate page, because I do think there's snippets of him that I see online that I like, but it's really hard. It's hard. I don't think he
can drive sometimes.
What I witnessed in Brazil, I feel like I could drive the car better than that.
And like this weekend again, memes have come out about Stroll, like... can't wait to see the carnage on the track this week after watching 7 rookies and Stroll. Stroll always gets pulled in. I do feel mean
for him because like the world's against him, but yeah, I just don't. I'm not expecting anything from him this year. That's hence why Aston's 8th as well in my championship, because I feel like Alonso has carried it for the last 2 years and is going to continue to do so.
It reflects then.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
16th.
16th. That's where I've got Hulkenberg.
Okay, but you put Stake at 10th.
I did. But
that means they're not going to score any points.
Doesn't mean they can
like
score.
1 last year.
Can score 4 points. That would mean that Du and Ocon and Hadjar have to score 0. I don't know how this works, but maybe they can get like 14 points this year. And I think it'll be, if it's anyone, it's going to be Hulkenberg that gets it. Because you got to remember,
I'm feeling more confident in my drive.
Anything below 0.10 gets no points. Yeah. And I think Ocon, Hadjar, Doohan are going to struggle to get into the top 10 ever.
Agreed.
Like they might get 10th. So that's where I was kind of getting it from.
It's going to be hard because they're fighting for 1 and 2 points, because they're fighting for 9th and 10th. Yeah, they're not
fighting for 25.
They're fighting for 9th and 10th with the likes of Carlos and Alex.
Exactly.
And Gasly, who's really good.
So I think Doohan, Ocon, Hadjar aren't going to get it. Yeah, and I think Hulkenberg on a day when it's a tough race,
the experience.
Hulkenberg can just bring it out. So maybe.
So 16th, I've got Hadjar, just because I think RB are going to do better than Stake and better than Stroll.
Fair.
And then 15th, did you say you got for 16th?
Hulkenberg.
15th, Ollie Behrman.
Correct.
We got the same.
Same. We're agreeing on Bortoleto and Behrman.
Yeah.
I think he did well in that Ferrari.
Yeah.
I think he can.
He's got promise for the future.
He can probably do something in the Haas. I see him doing the same performance in the Ferrari. He'll get some low points. Like he'll manage to get up somewhere, just drive well and get some low points, and that'll just give him enough to be at 15th.
I'm really excited about Ollie Behrman, to be honest.
Me too. I mean, that's one of the few clips I did see on my social media was Behrman going straight into
the wall in FP1. But I was like, this is it, guys. Starting ahead of Sunday.
At least he's pushing the car and he's trying to see the limits of it. So he's got the mentality to try it. It is. I can't wait.
What should be the most boring race ever? We've just hyped it up for like a year.
Everyone's hyping it up, so we're not alone. 14th, I've got Lance Stroll.
That is so high.
It is quite high, but he does get points.
When?
Last year he got points.
When?
He just got points. He
drove into the gravel track trying to turn around.
Yeah, but you're thinking of I know he was terrible, but like you're thinking of like some of his worst points. He's got such a bad attitude
as well. Like you say, Ollie's got a good attitude. He's got a bad attitude.
But then I think again, like I said, towards the end of the season, I think Aston's gonna maybe push up past some of these bottom teams. Okay.
I mean, when Alonso was getting like podiums every week, Stroll was still down in like 9th.
True, but 9th is points.
1
point.
Or 2. 14th, I've got Tsunoda.
Correct.
You got
14th. Yeah. Oh, no, 14th, I have Stroll. You've got Tsunoda. Yeah. Okay.
13th, I've got Ocon.
I've got Tsunoda.
So I tried to line this up with my constructors. So I'm going Stake as at the bottom. Aston, I'm going to go quite low because Stroll's going to be on the same par as Stake. And then I've got the next team, I've got RB, which Hadjar and Tsunoda are going to be kind of like bottom to mid of that bottom section, if that makes sense.
Where did you have Hadjar again?
16th.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I've got I do think Haas will do better than RB and Aston. I do. This year. So that's why I was trying to line it up because I did the constructors first.
Yeah.
So who have you got for 14th?
Stroll.
13th,
I've got
13th, Ocon.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I've gone Hadjar, Ollie, Tsunoda, Ocon. Like I've just split them out and I've gone based on the rookies first, so like lower.
Yeah.
And then Ocon and Tsunoda directly after them.
Yeah.
And then 12th, Alonso.
12th, Alonso.
Oh. Yeah. I think he's going to do good, but he's going to struggle.
I think he'll struggle first part of the season, come back second part.
I really like Alonso.
And he's the best rookie on the track.
So I don't just to Do you want to talk about that later or now?
Are we going to talk about it later? Because
Okay,
otherwise
'cause
this is going to be a
the whole
70-minute podcast.
The whole Alonso's a rookie is just
It's
the most ridiculous
it's a good
joke.
meme, but not everyone understands
Why are you
it.
doing the meme hands?
Good meme.
11th. I think we're going to be quite similar now. 11th, Albon.
I've got Gasly.
I've got Gasly 10th.
Okay, I've got Albon 10th.
So, yeah.
So, similar.
Same similar. 9th.
I have Lawson.
Sainz.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and then I have
I think you're wrong with that.
8th, I have Lawson. Who do you have in 8th?
Antonelli, the star boy.
Right, so...
I've got Sainz high.
You're
So I got 10 Albon.
You're over-promising and under-delivering with that Williams car.
I think it can do well.
Yeah,
And
but
with
there's
the
only
two-
3 podium positions as well.
Two
and
appendixless drivers.
that's got nothing to do with it.
They're going to be so fast with that minus whatever it is, 1 gram of weight.
So, yeah, I've got Albon 11th, Gasly 10th, Sainz 9th, Lawson 8th.
Okay.
And you've got Kimi in 8th.
I got Gasly 11th, Albon 10th, Lawson 9th, Antonelli 8th.
I've got Antonelli 7th.
Okay.
So
this is
we
where
need to get into
this is where it's getting all confusing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
7th, I've got Sainz. I've got him very high.
You in that Williams car.
I think
How can you take, right, the top 4 teams being Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren and not have all their drivers who are very good in the top 8 positions?
we got to remember I've got Williams in 5th. So I think Sainz and Albon are going to do pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. I do think Sainz is definitely going to be in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think Gasly and Albon are going to be fighting for P10. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Sainz is definitely going to be within the top 10. And then I think in terms of the top 4 teams, Kimi and Liam are going to be at the bottom of those drivers.
Yeah, so I've just got Kimi above
Yeah.
Lawson, 8th and 9th.
Yeah. I think Lawson, the only thing that I can say positively about Red Bull at the moment is I feel like Lawson's single-handedly saving their PR image. He is bringing a complete breath of fresh air.
You love him to death.
I do really like Lawson. I don't love him in the sense that, like,
You said he had Riz last time.
because of his like spiky hair and his energy. But like, I've not seen a lot of him race because he's not been in
he's
the
done
sport
11
that long. But I've not consumed a lot about like in terms of content about him. But he just feels like a breath of fresh air in that team. Young, like new. He's got a new fan base. He's bringing the Gen Z energy. They need that in their team. So I really, really like Liam.
They need someone to offset Max and his attitude.
And
Perez
his image.
towards the end of his term was just getting so fed up with the car, fed up with the team, and was just
and
getting
it
a
was
bit
just
grumpy
negative
and
energy,
grumbly.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Liam's going on podcasts. He's going around. He's doing all the social media bits. So I agree. He's a breath of fresh air.
I love his song. So all the drivers have songs. I don't know if you know about this. So obviously there's like Max, Super Max, and then Carlos is Smooth Operator.
Yeah.
Liam Lawson's is the funniest thing ever. It's
What
like,
is it?
here's my middle finger. I'm Liam Lawson. Liam Lawson.
Yeah, because of his.
You jealous that I'm quicker? Here's my middle finger.
Yeah,
move out of my way.
He's going to be good.
He
but I don't
like
think
literally got dropped into that car last year, didn't he? And just like flew with it, and he was just like, "Fuck you all."
Yeah, he's going to do good. He's going to do good. But I think Starboy Antonelli is going to be above him.
The only thing I want in from Liam is that he has a few poor results and they ship him out for Sonoda. I really hope that doesn't happen. I hope they put all their eggs in a Liam Lawson basket, to be honest.
If they thought Sonoda was anything, they would have done it last year, in my opinion. So
I think Kimi will do well, but it'll be similar to Lawson, where he has a few good results, maybe a few not so good results.
Yeah. So
sixth,
did you say 7th? Yours? What was yours? Sorry.
Kimi, Lawson, and then 8th was Lawson.
So 6th.
George.
Oh, I've got Leclerc. Yeah. I'm backing my man this year. Or my second man. I've got Leclerc in 6th. Right. Listen to me. Leclerc in 6th, Lewis in 5th, and Russell in 4th.
Russell in 4th?
I honestly think he's going to do something this year.
Wow.
But you might call that a what the fuck. But I think
Charles in 6th place?
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Yeah.
Are you mad?
I might be mad.
Oh my God.
And
Right. So who did you get 5th and 4th?
5th is Lewis. 4th is Russell.
Right, let's stop there.
Yeah.
6th, George.
Yep.
5th, Oscar.
Okay.
4th, Lewis.
Okay.
So I put George in 6 because I think the Mercedes is going to be good and it's going to be very tight. I want to caveat this, I think the top 6 is going to be incredibly close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put George in 6 just because I feel like the Ferrari and the McLaren will be better and Red Bull with Max will be better. Oscar I put in 5th because I feel like Papaya Rules is going to screw him over.
Yeah.
And I feel like Ferrari maybe held back a bit in testing.
Yeah.
They've got the dream team. So yeah, and then 4th with Lewis. Breaks my heart because I think I really want to see Lewis win his 8th in Ferrari. There's nothing I want more because I feel like that will be the biggest piece of cinema to ever. I'll be so grateful that I've witnessed it in like real time because I feel like it'll be one of those moments that's like legendary forever.
It's why we started the podcast, but it's beginning to look like it might not be the case.
It's not good. I would love it. Like I would literally combust into thin air if Lewis was anywhere close to being P1 or 2 in the championship. I don't think my nerves could take it, but I don't think it's going to happen this year.
No,
I think it'll be next year.
It's not. Might not even be next year. Who knows? Regulation.
We don't need that energy.
Crazy.
Why are you putting that out into the existence? We need to manifest.
Because every year he gets older. Every year he gets older.
After the porpoising issue in 22, I had no hope for Mercedes in this whole regulation turn.
Yep.
So the fact that Lewis has been like, right, see you later, I'm off, show me the fire exit door, gives me a breath of fresh air to be a stan again. So
again, still are. Always have been.
Always have been.
Always have been.
I was under no delusion that he would win a race in the last 3 years.
Look at what she's worn the last 3 episodes, and even today she's tried to be less obvious. She's still wearing a 44 pin.
No British bias here. Okay,
3.
So 3.
Top 3. I'll just give you my top 3.
No, I want 3 first.
Do you want 3 first?
Yeah.
Right. 3's Piastri for me.
Max.
Okay.
P2.
2. Verstappen for me.
Fez.
What have you got?
Lando.
Oh, who am I missing? All right.
So who's your P2?
P2's Verstappen.
Charles, world champion.
Really?
Yeah.
You are sniffing glue, girl. I do. How is that matching up with your constructors?
It is.
How is it?
It is. Because I've got Charles, McLaren in P1.
Yeah.
But Lando and Oscar in the top 5.
Yeah.
But then Ferrari, I've got Ferrari at 1 and 4, and then McLaren at 2 and 5. Basically,
so how does that work?
That doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
But this is my reasoning. So what's your 1, 2, 3 again?
They can't even steal points now, can they? With the fastest lap.
Lando, Max, and Oscar. I can't speak.
Oscar.
Lando, Max, and Oscar.
I've got Norris 1.
Yeah.
And Piastri in 3rd. So
Max
that puts
second.
them at first.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got P1 Charles, P2 Lando, P3 Max. I think we can both agree that Max is not going to be world champion this year.
You can never count him out. That's why I put him second.
You cannot count him out. He's phenomenal. But I'm over it. 4 years in a row, guys. Come on. This is going to be the year that Max just, we need to break his cycle.
Yeah.
Formula One is cyclical. Like, it always goes round in cycles. Red Bull, I definitely feel like are edging over their, like, glory days. Like, it peaked in 22 and 23, and now it's kind of on a bit of a turn, like just
because
at the crest of the turn
stuff as well,
and Adrian Newey and stuff. So I really firmly believe that Max is not going to win this year. However, Lando, I agree, at P1.
Yeah.
I think he's the favourite. I think McLaren are very, very strong. But this time last year, Lando had not won a race. Are you telling me he can go in the space of a year from not winning a race to a world champion?
But both of them are the same. They've
And
both had the same opinions about them. We remember we had it with Leclerc. It was like, we want him to win, and he couldn't pull it out of the bag. I see them two as the same people, but McLaren's got the better car this year, as
Agreed. I agree completely with that.
I think you've written a wish list, not a prediction.
No, I haven't. No, because I actually was going to put Lando, and then I thought, I'm going to be a bit crazy because I feel like Lando, I really like him. I really, really do. But he's a bit of a bottle job. He's got a reputation for a bottle job. He bottles it, and when he bottles it, his own teammate even swoops in and takes the fucking lead of the races. So that, mixed in with the fact he's only been winning races for 10 months,
Yeah.
And at best, then it was only a few races. It wasn't continuously win. To win a world championship, you've got to be like a Max and a Lewis who can consistently deliver. Lando was delivering, it was all a bit bottle jobby last year. It was, hate to say it.
Yeah.
Number two, papaya rules could fuck him over because McLaren don't have a number one driver. And I think when you're gearing up to be a world champion,
Ferrari don't.
When you gear up to be a world champion, that team has got to put all their eggs into one basket.
Yeah.
With Ferrari, I do feel like they would prefer Lewis to win the championship for the clout, but Charles is the Ferrari boy. He's the home hero. He's been driving that car for years and years.
He is.
So I'm good. I think Ferrari have a great car too. I think they have been sandbagging.
They do.
They've got the motivation. They've got the energy. Charles is. I think Charles is more world championship material at this present moment than Lando, just because of his experience and the proofs in the pudding, the wins, and the consistent relationship he's been building with Ferrari over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But it's a wish list because
I
do feel like it might be Lando.
I think that's crazy.
But I also feel like Charles and Lando, like you say, are very similar. They've had moments of bottling it and not delivering. But Max is there consistently like a robot, like a machine, doing it week in, week out.
So let's just...
They're locked in now.
Let's go with them crazy predictions. I've got it. It's on tape.
Yeah, locked in.
You can't go back. You can't say,
I'm not, do you know what?
This?
It is a bit of a wish list, but then at the same time, I'm like, it's not completely unthinkable. Really,
it's not.
We don't know the pace of the car yet because we've not had a race. That's why it's fun.
No, and that's why we're excited for Sunday.
But like,
come on, just give me the race.
But that's why these predictions are so crazy because we genuinely don't really have any idea. We just believe in the hype. We believe in what we consume and what snippets we've seen here and there. We don't have a fucking clue, to be honest. So
I thought mine were crazy, but no, I think you're a little bit crazier. But I could eat my hat. We could all eat our hat.
At least I've not put Lewis first because that would be Delulu.
True. It would be a bit Delulu for Lulu.
So yeah, locked in.
Quickly. I'll be as quick as I can. I'm going to go from 1 to 20. Norris first, Verstappen second, Piastri third, Russell fourth, Lewis fifth, Leclerc sixth, Sainz, seventh, Antonelli eighth, Lawson ninth, Albon 10th, Gasly 11th, Alonso 12th, Tsunoda 13th, Stroll in 14th, Behrman 15th, Hülkenberg 16th, Doohan 17th, Ocon, controversially, 18th, Hajar 19th, and Bortoletto, unfortunately, 20th. But I think he's going to do good next year.
We need to agree to disagree on this whole thing, don't we? Let's be honest. So, first, Charles. Second, Lando. Third, Max. Fourth, Lewis. Fifth, Oscar. Sixth, George. Seventh, Kimi. Eighth, Liam. Ninth, Carlos. I wrote the last name, so I'm like trying to think of it. I was good. 10th, Gasly. 11th, Albon. 12th, Alonso. 13th, Ocon. 14th, Tsunoda. 15th, Behrman. 16th, Hajar. 17th, Stroll. 18th, Doohan. 19th, Hülkenberg. 20th, Bortoletto. I wrote their last names down and then I was trying to convert.
We are very different in what...
We're different, similar but different, yeah. So then just some quick fire predictions for the season. Yep. Again, we need to think of some kind of bet for this. Or
how many bets we have in? I'm going to be broke.
So
we're bold and broke.
I think... we decided to predict Rookie of the Year, Rookie Flop of the Year, Best of the Rest, and the What the Fuck. Yep. So my Rookie of the Year is Kimi Antonelli.
Same.
I think he will score the most points because he's in potentially the fastest car.
Yep.
And even though Red Bull might be quicker, he's had more experience in the Mercedes than Liam has. So, yeah, I think Rookie of the Year in terms of points and performance will be... Did you just dribble?
I just dribbled.
Will be Kimi Antonelli. And then biggest rookie flop of the year. This is potentially controversial because I think Doohan's going to be out. But I think in terms of expectation and pressure and delivery and performance and points and struggling with the car, my biggest rookie flop will be Liam.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even though I've scored him really high on my predictions.
You've scored him high?
Yeah, I've scored him at P8, but he's obviously one of the highest rookies in terms of where I've scored him. I just think he's going to be underwhelming.
So it's a flop in terms of his own
expectation,
potential and
performance,
expectation.
Yeah,
Okay,
just
yeah.
like the whole thing. Not who's going to finish last, because then obviously it'd be Bortoletto.
Yeah. I'm never going to say Bortoletto's a flop, because what's he going to do in that car?
Yeah.
I've put Hajar.
Fairs.
I put Hajar just because he seems like a sweet boy. He seems like...
I think he's got a reputation for being aggressive.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, he's like, oh, I love Lewis Hamilton. I get all giddy when I see Lewis Hamilton. He just seems...
They all do.
He's got puppy
They all do.
puppy
Did you not
energy
see
like
Colin
land.
Pinto last year following him around like a puppy
he's got
dog?
puppy. And again, it's a Helmut Marko choice. Track record don't always do too great sometimes. So I've just put Hajar for that reason. I think he's going to be...
That's fair.
I don't think he's going to compare well to his teammate. How can you compare Lawson to his teammate? He's like one of the best drivers.
You need to just review them on their own.
Yeah,
you?
so I'll go with Hajar.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
Lawson's a crazy one. I thought he was going to go one of the other guys like Behrman or Lewin, but interesting. We'll see how it goes.
And then best of the rest, I think we agree on this. Carlos. Yeah.
Carlos Sainz.
In that Williams, he's going to be up there and ready to pounce as soon as there's some kind of...
I hope so, because I don't want to lose Sainz from F1. He's not a Daniel Ricciardo.
No.
Sainz is
What's
good.
crazy is he's done nearly the same amount of races as Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
And look at his record. It's really, I'm really sad that they got rid of him from Ferrari, to be honest. But he's definitely world championship material, I think. He's just had the wrong drives at the wrong times.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was with McLaren before they, soared to success. He's now with Williams, and potentially he will leave Williams to go to a top team next year or the year after. And then I feel like Williams, he'll have done all the groundwork. All James Vowles' investments will have come up, and then Williams will be fighting in the top potentially, or top of the midfield, and then he'll fuck off and leave.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
I think he's just...
I've never had a bad word to say about Sainz.
Is Sainz going to be like the next Alonso, where he's just in the wrong team at the wrong time?
What, and just stays out forever? But
he stays in the sport forever because everyone loves him and he's really good. But he's just seems to leave the teams at the wrong times to not win enough championships.
Yeah, true. We'll see. But then, he will be the best of the rest. Yeah,
so then our what the fuck moment.
A wild prediction.
Yeah, wild prediction of the year. What's yours?
So I've put that Hajar... It's not even that wild, probably, to be fair. But I'm putting the bets on the both, and that both Hajar and Doohan will be replaced some point in the live season. Not that they're told that they don't have a seat by the end of the... I think they will be both replaced by the end of the season.
Both? Yeah. Okay. See, I think my wild prediction is something's going to happen at Aston Martin. I don't know whether it's...
How can you say something?
So I've got three things I'm floating around.
Okay.
So I've got... Stroll's going to be fired. The shareholders are just going to be like, we've had enough of you. We know your dad owns the team, but come on.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to... Alonso's going to lose his patience with the whole situation, and it just becomes ridiculous, and Stroll's out. Or is Fernando going to retire? He's old like that.
He's old, but he's still good.
Is he though? Is he going to, ahead of 2026 when Adrian Newey comes in and they change it all up, are they going to get rid of Stroll and Alonso and get some new people in? So I think something big's going to happen at Aston Martin.
It's a wild prediction.
And we did kind of touch on this in the first episode. There was a huge rumour in the winter season about Max potentially going to Aston Martin on a $1 billion deal over a 5-year contract. Max worked very well with Adrian Newey. Jos Verstappen hates Christine Horner and the internal struggles at Red Bull. Helmut Marko, and wherever Helmut Marko and Jos Verstappen want Max to go, he will go. Yeah. So I think Aston are going to be towards the end of the bottom of the table. So it might be crazy that the world championship, the world champion will go to the bottom of the table, but we don't know what's going to... Max might see a plan for 2 years' time and think, I'm out before Red Bull dive any further. If he loses his championship this year, which I think he's going to, is he just going to jump ship? And Max is having a baby. He might want to change it up and have a year off. You don't know.
No, he loves racing too much, I think.
My wild prediction, but it's not really... I can't put my finger on it. But I just think something monumental is going to happen at Aston Martin.
Next year's Drive to Survive, all about Aston Martin. Yeah, something crazy.
Basically.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I think that was a lot. I tell you what, I think we should just drop in before we leave.
Yes.
Is we have created a podcast fantasy league.
Yep.
And we're going to announce what the prizes are. There's going to be a prize for first place, and we're going to open it up to everyone who subscribes and likes and comments and shares, because we've had so much support so far, and hopefully get quite a big league going and make it a bit competitive.
Yep. We're hoping to talk about where people
where
might be
people
at
are,
every
and
kind
name
of every other
teams,
weekend,
and then
or
maybe
every weekend. So
maybe even get some guest people on to talk about why they've put certain people in certain places, and their predictions for the year ahead, that kind of stuff. So we definitely want that to be the interactive part of the podcast. And also, I would like to hear people's predictions in the comments to see how far off we are. Like, do people agree? Do people disagree? I mean, I feel like Charles is the contentious one here.
That is the most, especially when your maths was a bit squiggly. But let's
the
let's see how
mathing.
it goes.
I don't profess to be good at maths. Okay, I got a C at GCSE maths. Like, I'm not good at maths, but I'm just here for the drama. I told you.
Here for the wish list. Let's have Charles as number one.
So we're going to post about the F1 Fantasy League and what prizes we're going to potentially do. So please like, subscribe, share, comment, show your love, and join the Fantasy League. And hopefully we can get some guest people on.
Yeah, let's go Melbourne. Come on, let's go.
Ooh, we're back, baby.
Right, see you guys soon.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.